Good evening, welcome to Camera Diner. Thanks everybody for tuning in for our usual Thursday night slot. It seems like a long week to me this week. I've already done 4 shows so far, and if you haven't watched those 4 shows, then you jolly well need to, because we have been giving away one of these RX100 cameras, one of the most desirable cameras in the market at the moment. Now, we may have some new viewers tonight. Did you pick up one of our leaflets whilst you were at Focus on Imaging these last few days? If you did, then you'll know all about that RX100 competition, and thanks ever so much for coming to join us. I hope you're going to really enjoy this show, and it's different every week. We have different brands coming on the show with new products. We have photographers, filmmakers, and this week we've been very luckily joined here in the diner by some local retailers. We're going to be telling you the story of imagex that is new as of last week. They were Jessop's before Christmas, but sadly, along with all the other Jessop stores just after Christmas, found themselves with closed down shutters and out of work. They've radically turned the store around, reopened, reinvested, and are pleased to be able to offer the local Bicester community a photographic retailer once again. So that's what we're going to be talking about for the next hour here on Camera Diner. Okay, so for our regular viewers, you'll know this already, but for our new viewers, you can join us also on Facebook or Twitter, and on both we are Camera Diner. Then there's YouTube and Vimeo too, and on Vimeo you can even download the show, watch it offline, take it with you perhaps on an iPad or an iPhone, something like that, and go and show your friends down the camera club, for example. Okay, we update our Facebook page every single day with great photos, news, stories, tips, all manner of things which should be useful to you. Now, it's been a busy old time down at Focus, and the guys up there have been absolutely brilliant to us. Nearly every stand I think we did an interview on. We covered every square centimetre of that event. Sadly, it's closed now for another year, so we'll have to go back in March of next time. But for you, if you haven't watched our 4 shows from the last few nights, make sure you do. They're available on our website in the section about previous shows. And you have until next Wednesday evening, about midnight I reckon, next Wednesday night, to enter the competition with the 4 questions that we give out during the live show to win this camera, the RX100. Have you read about this? Have you seen about it in the press and all the reviews of it? 1-inch sensor, very large, big zoom as well, and phenomenally good quality. So you can win it. It's yours in exchange for the 4 correct answers to the 4 questions that we ask. Okay, don't forget also tonight, back with our usual slot, we're working with our sponsors Visible Dust to give away a set of swab samples to somebody with the question of the night. So anytime during the show, use the chat wall for what it's there for, having a word with us or our guests. You can ask them a question about how they got back in business. Okay, so that's all to come later in the show. For now, we're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back in a couple of, sorry. We're going to do the news. I forgot the news because we haven't done it on the last few shows because the news was the show. Silly me. Engage brain. Okay, we've got lots of news. Even though the industry has been busy launching new products at Focus on Imaging, other things have been going on as well. The first thing, Fujifilm were here 2 weeks ago. They showed us, we got an exclusive first look at lots of new lenses that are coming to the market later this year for the X Pro 1 and XE1 cameras. One of those that Theo brought in was the 55 to 200mm zoom. And Fujifilm have put a little bit more information behind the availability and specification of this lens. It's going to be a 3.5 to 4.8mm lens and with optical image stabilization. Internally, it has 4 linear stepper motors to make it quicker in its focusing than any of the XF lenses have been before. Together with it having the optical image stabilization to offer up to 5 stops worth of assistance in camera shake reduction. It looks like it's going to be a very high quality lens, and it's half a stop brighter already than any other equivalent lens for any other system. So I think Fujifilm have really got a very good lens, and the good news is it could be with us as soon as May this year. So stay tuned for more on that. The next news is that Nikon have announced a new compact camera with a large sensor. Now, you've probably seen the Sigma DP2, DP1, you've seen the Sony RX1 with its full frame sensor, and of course Fujifilm have the X100 and X100S cameras. Well, now Nikon want to get in the game. They've got the new Nikon A compact camera, and it's got a 16 megapixel APS-C size. They're calling it DX format, but it's APS-C size sensor. And the good thing with it, there's no anti-aliasing filter. So rather like the new X100S from Fujifilm, doing away with the anti-aliasing filter means higher resolution at a pixel level so that you get sharper pictures out the end of it. And it's going to be with a fixed focus lens, the equivalent of 28 millimeters or 18.5 millimeter actually on the lens. Very exciting. That game is getting very interesting. Lots of really good cameras, all in the same sort of price point, all competing for the same type of customer use. So that's going to look good. Also, Nikon have a new lens coming, an 80 to 400 millimeter. It's f/4.5.5.6. New optical arrangement. The last lens that they had of this focal length has lasted about 10 years in the range, so it's long overdue a change. New ring type AFS motor system, be quicker and quieter, and new vibration reduction system in it too. And you'll really need that help at the 400mm end, especially if you're using it with an APS-C sized sensor, because in equivalency, that's 600 millimeters. So new vertical vibration reduction system is there to help you get sharper pictures all of the time. Okay, so you remember that break I spoke to you about? We're going to very quickly go off for a few words from Fujifilm. We'll be back in a couple of minutes' time, so stay tuned. Welcome back. It's the 7th of March and in the evening here in the UK. We're about 7:15 at the moment. Okay, now, have you heard of a gigapixel picture before? Have you ever looked at one? They've been produced now for about 3 years since camera technology has gotten high enough resolution, but more importantly, computer technology and internet browsing technology has brought a new type of photography into your computer screens. Well, I got sent a press release from British Telecom a couple of weeks ago, and it's all thanks to BT that we're able to stream this show to you. We use BT Infinity for our internet connection. So hopefully this is going to work, because what I'm going to be doing is downloading a very high resolution image at the same time as I'm streaming and talking to you about it. Fingers crossed, everybody, this might just work. Now, you can just see on the screen to the side of me here, we've got a shot. And if we cut to the full screen on it, you'll be able to see that it is a major city. But do you know where? Can you figure it out? Well, being as it's British Telecom, you might have a clue if I zoom right out to pan around. Look at this. Are you seeing that at home? This image has an incredible 48,640 individual photographs, and it's taken using 4 Canon EOS 7D cameras that had 400mm 2.8 lenses on it, and the position that this picture is taken from is the BT Tower in London. Now, they were shot over a 3-day period back at the time when the Olympics were on in London. And if you look here now, I'm able to scroll around. You'll see in the heart of London City there coming up, and I can zoom in closer and closer and closer and closer. Look at this. And we're not anywhere near pixel level yet. Let me show you, you can almost go down to street level. Let me zoom in a bit more and show you just how incredibly clever this is. There you go. Zoom in there past, there's St. Paul's. Now let me put St. Paul's in the middle of the frame, like this. And you can make out St. Paul's here, look. All right. Now watch this. I can zoom in and in and in and in and in and in. I'll just reposition it a little bit. Get it to the center, like so. In and in and in and in and in some more. And then a real picture comes up and I can zoom in and I can see, look, there are people on the top of St. Paul's Cathedral. And we are seeing this from the BT Tower just off Tottenham Court Road in the centre of London. If I zoom back again a bit more, it goes back to the post-processed pictures that add sharpness. That's that new inverted building. It's going to look a bit like a vase of flowers when it's finished. There is Tower Bridge. Just beneath it, look, you can see HMS Belfast just over here. If I go left a bit more, you'll see the Tower of London just peeking out there, one of the oldest buildings in London. And I can scroll around. Let me give you a bit more data about how this picture was taken. It's got a 320 gigapixel picture. It comprises of 48,640 individual frames. It took 3 days for this image to render. 3 days overall. Now look, I can zoom in a bit more. Do you recognise this? Anybody on the chat wall? You can use the chat wall to tell me what you think you're looking at there that I'm zooming into. Recognise that? Anybody? It's 60,000 times bigger than a single iPhone photograph, and if it were to be printed at normal photographic resolution, it's the globe. Well done, 12 John 021. From memory, you're in Los Angeles. From memory, is that right? I can't remember. You obviously know London very well. If this picture was to be printed at normal photographic resolution, it would be 98 meters long. It would be 24 meters high, which is only slightly smaller than the fascia of Buckingham Palace. That's just how much information is in this image. The pictures were taken from the 29th floor of the BT Tower, which essentially is a viewing gantry at the top. The public aren't allowed up to it, so the team that shot this, it's a German company, and photographers Jeffrey Martin, Tom Mills and Holger Schultz actually did the photography over those 3 days. And with these cameras and these images, you're able to see over 20 miles into the distance. There's the Tate Modern going by, and we're coming now. There's the Oxo Tower. Can you see that on the live stream? There's the Oxo Tower, and round a bit more. We can go down a bit and we see, there we go, there's Centre Point. Let's go up, prove it to you. There's that's the foot of Tottenham Court Road. Isn't this absolutely incredible? And if I zoom all the way back out again, you can see that is the wide shot of London. And you can even set it to show you what a fisheye view would be, or a straight vertical image. Let me zoom right back in again. And I'll just move over here, just lastly to show you a landmark. I think I can pull out, where is she? She's gone somewhere. Just over, a bit more this way. There's the London Eye going by. And I want to go over towards Battersea because we can go to a landmark that everyone across the world recognises from a very famous album artwork. There it is. That is Battersea Power Station. Doesn't that look incredible? Fantastic. And the other thing you can do is, I don't know what we're going to see, but watch, if I just take the arrow downwards, we can go to street level, right below our feet, right at the foot of the BT Tower, and you can almost see into people's bedrooms and flat windows and what have you. It's quite incredible. Let's have a look as we go right down here to what's a building site there. That doesn't look very interesting. Let's go this way a bit. It's coming up, rooftops, and here we have it. We're getting down to street level. Come from behind these buildings. There we go. Look at that. You are literally looking down into Ogle Street, W1, and the Diva shop window. And I can even go even closer than that, I think. Look at that. Incredible bits of information. And there are many images like this. I know that when President Obama was inaugurated, a gigapixel picture was made of his inauguration, and you can see every single person's face. And if you also look for the Olympic Stadium shots, photographers were doing the same thing there, and friends of mine who were at the opening ceremony at the stadium are able to see themselves, and they bought the cheap tickets, but right up in the gods at the back of the stadium. Quite phenomenal. Right, I thought you might enjoy that. We've not done that sort of thing before, and maybe we'll try and do something similar again in the future. Right, we're going to take a very quick break, and after the break we're going to come back with our guests for tonight from imagex in Bicester, a rejuvenated ex-Jessup store. Here's a short video from their opening. So we're here in Bicester, Mr. Baldry. You're the local MP for this region, and we're seeing the opening of a new retailer, Phoenix from the Ashes, like imagex. Yeah. Can you say a few words about that?
Well, I think what's really important for a town like Bicester is that we continue to have a vibrant high street. We're having a new town centre built here with Sainsbury's as an anchor store. But actually, whilst it's fantastic having a huge Sainsbury's in the middle of the town, shoppers coming to Bicester want to have diversity, they want to have vitality, they want to have vibrancy in the high street, and shops like imagex, a new camera shop, a new photographic shop, really important about the kind of retail offer, and very key that one tries and retains niche, interesting businesses such as this in a town like Bicester.
Yeah, community retailing, and also a market town, a thriving market town. Yes. Here we are on market day, lots of different stalls as well.
Absolutely, and so people will come into the town for market day, and one then wants them to spend their money on shops like this, but they also come knowing that there's going to be a variety of shops they can come and visit.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us live on Camera Diner tonight. This is our usual Thursday night slot where we start about 7 o'clock through to around 8. Now, I've been telling you about a team of guys who have got back into business from Jessop's, as was in Bicester, and are now imagex. So let me introduce you to Rob. Good evening, Rob. And Paul. There's 2 Pauls on the show tonight.
Yes.
It's a good and popular name in photography. Right then, guys, congratulations first of all.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You have been able to turn it around.
There's some work to do yet, but yes, we've successfully reopened, and we're very pleased with how it's gone so far.
And you've been getting great publicity as well, haven't you? Because you are the first of any Jessop store to be able to reopen the door and welcome back in customers.
Yes, we are, and I think probably still the only one.
Yeah.
We're not sure how far behind the other ones are, but yes, we were proud to be the first.
Now, for those of you that don't know, Bicester is a small market town in Oxfordshire. It's about 11-12 miles north of Oxford, and it's, as a market town, full of small independent traders. But it's a very busy and vibrant town, and the catchment area around all the villages is very popular. Now, you may know of Bicester only for Bicester Village, which is an outlet centre on the outskirts of town, which causes us, all our locals, to be able to get stuck in traffic every Saturday and Sunday. You can't go anywhere around this town. But anyway, it is putting Bicester on the map. But actually, if you head to the town centre, it's small local retailers, isn't
That's
it?
right, yeah.
By and large.
There's a few high street names, but yeah, there's a very good local and independent channel, yes.
Absolutely. And the store that you were in, I used to call on many years ago when it was That Camera Place as an independent photographic shop.
That's right, yeah, back when Mike used to own it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's good. You're taking it back to those times. Jessop's came along and bought, I think there was 3 That Camera Places at
That's
the
right.
time. Yeah.
Abingdon and Evesham.
There you go. See? Testing the old grey matter tonight, look. So how long were both of you working for Jessop's?
Paul's the longest standing.
Yeah, so when we finally got made redundant, I'd been working there for about 5.5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Started off as a team leader and moved up from there.
Great. Great. And for you, Rob?
I joined a couple of years ago.
Just a couple of years ago?
2.5 years ago, yeah.
Okay. But you gave it your best. You gave it your loyal service.
That's right, yeah.
But what did you notice internally within Jessop's were the changes, and where do you think the demise came from and why it closed down?
There's all kinds of rumours out there and stories. Certainly on the coalface as it was, we saw some changes in the stock we were receiving. We saw less and less Jessop's branded product appearing. Products that we thought we should have had in stock didn't seem to appear. There was odd things that, looking back, should have given us more clues as to what was possibly in the pipeline. But
did it literally come as a bolt out of the blue to you both?
Yeah, quite literally had a phone call in the morning saying everything was going to be fine. They had suspected they could have found a new buyer. And then at 4 o'clock that afternoon, we got told to close.
That was it?
That was it.
Bring the shutters down,
As quick as that.
lock the door, and then what? What was the next thing?
shock.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't really know what was going to happen next at that point. This was a Friday before the busiest trading day of the company's week, so it was a very strange time for this to happen, but it did. And it really wasn't until Monday that we knew how they were going to physically close the stores down, and we were both there during the actual shutdown and the repackaging of all the stock. And
that must have been a bit of a challenge.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much a small shop holds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
extraordinary.
So what did you have to do? You had to literally box up all the cameras that were in the cabinets and pull all the shelving off and everything,
back to
surely.
bare bones.
Bare bones, absolutely empty.
Pretty much. Yeah.
A very large truck delivered a very large pile of empty tote bins,
Oh yeah.
and everything we had to repackage into this massive wall of tote bins that got picked up. And it was
And stock take it at the same time, so you itemise what was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
going through the computers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's extraordinary to think that this was happening across 180 branches up and down the country. I mean, the organisation of it must have been military precision.
Because obviously it's drip fed into you, isn't it? It comes over a period of days, weeks, months and years, but suddenly to get rid of it all overnight, you know, it's quite
a big job. Yeah.
quite a challenge.
It took a week.
I bet the shops never looked cleaner though, because at least you could get to every surface.
we did find one or two things that we hadn't seen for a while.
yes,
Yeah.
I mean we were moving bits of furniture and memories of how Jessop's used to be, and old logos and old
Came to light.
Yes,
Yeah, things that hadn't been seen for years.
yes.
Absolutely. So, what was it that gave you the confidence, or the inspiration, or what was it that gave you the motivation to want to go alone, so to speak, and go back into business? And if Jessop's a big, large-scale retailer can't do it, why one small couple of guys on their own? How is that possible?
From my point of view, I think it was the local branches of Jessop's were always good performers, the ones that had a history and a legacy of being an independent camera shop. We were relied on, and still are relied on now, for advice and personal service.
Mm-hmm.
Jessop's, their bigger stores and their national stores, obviously may not have had that edge, that local support.
Yeah.
But I think
during the packing up stage of the week, we had constant knocks on the door from local customers, basically asking what are they going to do next. So where can they go?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and there really isn't anywhere in Bicester, at least. I mean, where else would you go? Boots don't have any mini lab facilities or anything, do they? And
send away service. Yeah.
there's only about Argos to be able to buy a basic camera of some sort, perhaps, but not if you're an enthusiastic photographer wanting all the various accessories that make a system, that sort of thing. Yeah. So it was your customers, essentially, consumer demand.
Yep, I say from my point of view, it was always a pipe dream. So when I first started at Jessop's to maybe open up a competition, print-wise, and this, in my personal case, sort of gave me the kick I needed to follow that one, and obviously with Robert sort of helping along as well.
I mean, the key thing, I think, there was an awful lot that Jessop's wasn't doing right. There was an awful lot of things that the local community were asking us for, that no matter how much we said to the chain of command above us in Jessop's, we should be stocking this and we should be doing that, it was never responded to.
Sure.
Now we've got that opportunity to embrace that opportunity.
You've got that autonomy. It's your business.
We have,
You can make it as you wish. So, have you remained in contact with many of the Jessop's staff? Because the thing I always found in my dealings with Jessop's across the country, but it really came to its fore when you came to your annual conference, was the community-spirited nature of all of the various staff. You really did know each other, didn't you?
Yep, so most of the local managers had sort of mobile numbers, so you'd be texting each other.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a Facebook page set up after the event, which allowed people to express their feelings and tell people how things are going.
Yeah, and I think a fair amount of advice has been swapped through there as well, with people uncertain of their future.
That's right. It's a good place to go for ideas and opinions from people who know the business.
It's great to see. It really is. You're all collaboratively still helping each other, even now there's no physical connection in the firm. Obviously that's a closed Facebook group, I think, so people can't from externally get in there. You have to be invited. Okay, so what stage after this monumental event and seemingly the end of your career at Jessop's, did it really occur to you that you could actually turn this around and make it something for yourselves? How quickly thereafter?
We were talking about it, I think probably the day that they closed the doors.
That soon?
Yes, I think because we discussed what Jessop's weren't doing right before the closure, and
it was almost like a coffee moment, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Why don't we do it ourselves?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Let's explore it a little bit more.
Yeah, and we looked at we looked around. There was no competition. We realised it was an opportunity too good to pass up. We also, Paul being the manager, had access to all the profit reports for the branch. He was well fed with information on how the branch was doing and how well it was performing, and it was one of the top performers for Jessop's. So there seemed no reason not to carry on what was essentially a successful business, although it was part of a larger, less successful operation. Okay,
so let's talk a little bit about what a typical customer in your store looks for today when they're shopping for photography. What was it that was keeping the business going, and what is it that you're looking to continue to keep going?
The main bread and butter of our shop was always the print side. I had a lot from sort of the mums popping in, doing a lot of printing for their children and the rest. So that's
So
definitely...
customers still are printing, even in this all digital age.
Yeah, definitely still printing. We're finding a lot more tend to keep them on their phones because they're taking a lot more photos with their
For sure,
phones.
yeah.
But one of the reasons we went with Kodak is they do have a very good app that allows people to get their photos off their phone a lot quicker and a lot easier. Having great success with that.
Fantastic.
Also trying to focus a little bit more on the high-end stuff.
Yeah.
Because we never used to be able to get that with the Jessops.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were told what we were getting in
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah. You had optimum levels, didn't you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did quite a lot of the basic cameras, but we had pretty much every camera under the sun when it came to the basic ones.
Yeah.
So we're a little bit more selective, I think, with that area, which frees up some shelf space to allow us to bring some of the higher end stuff in.
Certainly. Yeah,
Jessops always ran the collect at store
That's
service.
true, yes.
And we could tell from what people were ordering for collection that was just delivered to us for them to come and pick up, that there's a demand in Bicester for the higher end equipment. You know, a lot of accessories were coming through for cameras that there's no
that
way
you weren't allowed to keep in stock.
Precisely.
And yet you had sufficient enough turnover because the customer would order it from home to collect in store when they were next in doing their shopping.
Exactly, and it would turn up and we wouldn't know a thing about it till it arrived in the tote.
Yeah.
And the guy would walk in and he had an EOS 5D and we were getting accessories for it, which...
Okay. Well, the chat wall's open, everybody, so do feel free to use it for questions for myself or maybe for Rob or for Paul here. We have got some questions coming in. Tell us where you shop and what you like about shopping in your local photographic retailer. Have you lost a Jessops nearby to you and what your plans are for buying your photographic equipment in future? You know, just drop a couple of words and it adds to the conversation here in the diner. Let's just have a quick look down though. Who's already put some messages on here? Let me see. Are you planning to have an online store as well? Asks Phil G.
Certainly. It's bearing in mind it's just over a month since we started this whole thing going. The website kind of took a back seat. We have we have a website. You can find it out there, imagex.co.uk, and it will grow. It'll move into more online sales.
12John021 asks, if you're successful in your town, do you think you're going to try and expand into a nationwide stores?
All I can say is shh.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'll take that as a yes then. Okay. He suggests he'd like somebody in Hexham. He's in the northwest.
Okay,
we'll put that on the list.
World domination is not far away. Okay, I have a plan. Where's my cat? Okay, Nikon Lover says, I would imagine that by providing personalised service, which online stores cannot provide. Is that something that you prioritise?
That's what Jessops was trying to do, and were fairly successful at it. Although obviously there is a lot of competition online.
You're always going to struggle against the big boys, aren't you? So the Amazons of the world.
Yeah.
And even the bigger retailers. I mean, Camera World's presence at Focus, you were there, was massive, and they were very, very busy the whole time. So there's an example of a bricks and mortar retailer that can compete.
Absolutely. Question here from Mark Carline. Are you likely to be doing trade-ins or second-hand equipment?
Something we've been looking into as well.
Yeah. I mean,
that was obviously something that Jessops gave up long ago, wasn't it? They did used to enable a customer to part exchange a camera against a new purchase and then take that product and, you know, clean it up a bit and make it sure it's all functioning properly and give it a warranty and put it back in the shop window and sell it. But they didn't after, 3-4 years ago?
That's right. Apparently some managers were offering too much for the second-hand kit. So obviously when they tried to sell it on, we weren't able to make a profit. So that's why that...
Is that right?
Finished. Yeah.
Oh dear.
We said to head office, the powers that be, maybe open up regional centres.
That would be a good idea, yes.
And then sending them all into the regional centre. Have someone who knows what they're doing, pricing and evaluating the cameras. But
I think London, New Oxford Street went on doing it for a long while after the rest of the stores finished, but they stopped as well. So,
I bet they had a large stockpile of it actually.
Probably, yes.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we're looking into.
We will do, yes.
Fantastic. 12John021 comes back. He's the chap who's in Hexham.
Yes.
He says he's lost his local Jessops and his local Jacobs in one fell swoop in Newcastle.
Yes,
in Newcastle, they were opposite each other actually. Yeah, directly opposite on the same road. which
Ten-
actually then
10
led
five.
down to the main shopping centre.
In Kingston, they were 3 doors apart.
One door apart.
1 door apart. I knew it was
Yeah.
very close. I thought it
Right
was
next
3.
door, you could knock on the wall. They say, "Do you do price matches?" And they'd shout through the wall, "You cheap fuck." There we go. Right, Lala's just come on the chat wall. I'm here at last. Well, welcome, Lala. Glad you've just tuned in. We are going to go over time tonight, so don't worry. You haven't missed an awful lot. We're here going to probably be until about 8:15. Nikon Lover comes back. Are you going to promote yourselves around the local camera club associations?
Well, Bicester doesn't have a camera club right now, or any sort of
Let's
photographic
start one.
So we have been talking about starting one. It's on our list of things to do once the store is as we want it.
There is a very good photographic society in Oxford, though.
Indeed, there is.
And
we
the
could-
very esteemed Mr. William Chung recently went and gave a talk there.
Did he?
They had a
indeed?
full house, over 60 members. It's very healthy.
Excellent. Or maybe we can invite him along to come and talk to whatever we get going in Bicester.
There you go.
There'll be a demand for it, yes.
There will, I'm sure. Ken Photographer, I'm in Bournemouth and we've lost 3 Jessop's shops.
3.
No, you've lost 2 and 1 in Poole, I think. You're counting. Jervis Place and then the Castle Point and the Arndale Centre. And lost 3 Jessop's. And you've also lost London Camera Exchange that was on Old Christchurch Road. We've still got excellent service from Castle Cameras though, and we don't used to have. I've just read ahead in this. Thank you, Ken. We don't have the same manager of the shop that we used to do, a certain Mr. Paul Genge. There we go.
That's how you know the area so well, right?
Indeed.
Does Robert White still have a
Sadly,
shop front down there?
well, the good news is, yes, Robert White still has a shop. Robert White is trading from Alder Hills Industrial Estate
Yes.
and doing very high-end, very
Oh, yes, as he always did.
top brass product.
Yeah.
Sadly, Rob himself has hit ill health lately and is currently undergoing attention for cancer. Sadly. So
That's very sad.
all the best to you, Rob.
Yes,
If
wish you
you
well.
or any of your colleagues ever get to see this, please pass on our very best wishes to yourself and to your family as well. Right, let's take a break. We're going to go to one of our sponsor breaks. Don't forget, keep the questions coming in. Somebody's going to win a visible dust set tonight. So stay tuned. We'll be back in a minute. Now we like to bring you all the movers and shakers of the photographic industry. If we're not talking to a photographer or a filmmaker, we're talking to the brands. And this, for the first time, is our opportunity to talk to brand new retailers. So make sure you use the chat wall, and somebody tonight is going to be receiving the Visible Dust Swab cleaning set to get that nasty dust off of your sensor. So keep using the chat wall. It's been busy whilst we've been away on the break. Nikon Lover 1 says, I'm in Manchester and he's lost 2 Jessop stores, a Jacobs and Wildings. Now he's just got London Camera Exchange. Well, the news I've heard for Manchester is that London Camera Exchange are moving out of the site that they used to be in at Piccadilly and are going to be going into what was the Jacobs site kind of pretty much in the centre of Manchester City, so you might see an improvement in what they can offer there at London Camera Exchange. But a little bird tells me there's other things afoot in Manchester too, but I'm not going to say any more. Okay, so gents, we may well have viewers, we may have later viewers on YouTube or Vimeo, may have ex-colleagues of yours who are also, you know, wishing that they could, you know, go into business. They know cameras, they know photography, they run shops. How did you turn it around in a business sense to get yourselves back into business, open the store and actually commercialise it? Because there's all sorts of things involved, mainly money though. How did you make that happen?
Phone calls and
yes,
phone
phone
calls.
calls. The minute we started putting the word out that we were taking over the business, then there was interest coming back. I mean, obviously our families have been very supportive, Paul's family in particular. I have a lot of business contacts in Bicester from other things I've done in the area, so I put the word out to a number of people I know who I thought might be interested in getting involved in supporting local business. Mm-hmm. And sure enough, they've come forward as business angels, and we gave ourselves a figure we need to raise, and we've surpassed that very comfortably.
Oh, fantastic. So that's giving you a little bit of security in a sense.
Yeah.
Because the bills start coming shortly after you open, don't you? I hope you've got long credit terms with your suppliers.
The suppliers have been fantastic.
Who in particular has been good for you?
Well, the biggest one is Kodak.
Really?
Unquestionably.
Yeah. They're a big business that's had their own difficulties of late, aren't they?
True.
Yeah.
I mean, we debated long and hard and evaluated the marketplace as to which way we went on the front end kiosk side of what we do, and we were on the point of signing with Fuji. I know Fuji are a supporter of yours, and I can't fault their technology and the way they handle it, but it's the kiosks that won it for us. The kiosks,
and in the consumer's mind, Kodak is unblemished. You know, in the industry, we kind of know the difficulties that they've faced and what they're currently facing with Chapter 11. But of course, for the consumer, the shopper, Kodak is a loyal and trusted brand. I think at one stage they were the third most valuable brand name in the world. You know, just behind Microsoft and Coca-Cola.
Yes.
And
so
very recognisable as well.
So it's great for your signage and everything to be able to offer Kodak when people walk in.
There's nothing to help with. Very flexible when it came to helping us with the front.
They did, yeah. They've been. I mean, to be honest with you, we are also their first and currently their only express centre in Oxford, Oxfordshire. So we fill. If you look at a map of where all their centres were before we came on board, there was this
big hole in the
middle of the country. That
and this is a very wealthy, affluent area, isn't it?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I live here. What about your landlord though? Because surely they were dealing direct with Jessops and they were getting a nice little income from it every month. And
we've been quite lucky with them, haven't we?
Yes, I mean, again, for us it was lucky that the landlord is a private individual or a family, should I say. So it's not as though we're dealing with a pension fund or a major financial
which slows it all down and adds extra red tape, doesn't it?
Less personal touch as well.
Yes, that's true.
So I mean, the landlord directly has taken an interest in what we're doing and has supported us. He was there on the day. We got the radio involved on the day we actually accepted the keys, and he was there to.
You have been working the PR wheel very well, haven't you? You're minor celebrities in Bicester now. You're going to be cutting the red tape for other shops in future.
Hopefully other shops of our own.
That could be. Always good to be ambitious.
Indeed.
Yes. So what was the in turnaround time then from when you closed the doors as Jessops to when you reopened as imagex last Friday? What was the timescale?
Well, it was
Jan 22nd, 20.
Yes, it was about a fortnight. I think it was a fortnight between Jessops finally closing their doors and my driving up to Leicester, Jessops' former head office, and meeting with the Price Waterhouse guys.
You actually had to go there to see them?
To go there and pick up the keys in person. They weren't able to send them because we wanted to take possession on the 1st of February, and we had the radio coming and we had the press coming to see it all happen.
Yeah.
And various little loopholes opened up, and in the end we had to pull some strings, and they said drive to Leicester and you can have the keys. So I drove to the shell of the former Jessops head office
on Scudamore Road,
in Scudamore Road, and met with the man whose decision it was to close all the doors of Jessops, who was in charge of the team up there who had taken over.
Did you feel a twitch in your right arm?
He was younger than I thought he would be.
Oh, really? Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, he's maybe done you a huge favour.
he has. I mean, not to everyone
In
else who worked
fairness.
for the organisation.
Yeah,
of course,
for you
but
guys, but for everyone
for
else,
us,
it's
it's worked out very
sad.
well.
But then they did say you can understand why
Yeah.
Jesuits were in the situation they were in.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, in the run up to taking over the keys, we had a number of conversations with Price Waterhouse, and they repeatedly couldn't understand how Jesuits had got to the point where they had.
Mm.
But obviously, when they dug deeper, there was more than enough reason to close the doors.
Absolutely. Okay. So what now for you guys then? What is it that you're offering to the customers of Vista that they should pop into you for regularly? What are you focusing on mainly as a camera shop?
Definitely the print services, like I said, that's our bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
We have a large format coming in
Yep.
tomorrow.
A printer, you
Or
mean?
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
You can do.
large printer.
So photo services essentially. Does that include things like canvases and?
That's what the large format will allow us to do. We didn't have that with Jesups, it was a send away service.
Okay.
So we'll be able to offer that on site, which will also allow us to do posters and other bits and pieces.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And then photo gifts and such like. So if people want pictures put onto almost any surface these days, really. you can-
indeed. Yeah, no, photo gifts is something that was growing with Jesups. Photo books again. is
Oh,
another-
books, yeah.
Photo.
Do you do that in store?
We now do that in store again. It was a send away service with Jesups.
Fantastic.
So that's
So you're really investing in the hardware.
yes.
Yeah.
Thanks to our business angels. Yes, we are. We're going to be well equipped to actually take the store where it really should have been with Jesups.
Yeah.
And we'll certainly be.
You're
there
offering a
with that.
better service.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What beyond that then? What other services do you offer for people? Do you do things like, I don't know, film transfer, DVD transfer, all that kind of thing, helping people with their memories and giving them re-access back to old formats?
Yes, we have a very good service that we use to do transfers from any form of cine or video tape
Mm-hmm.
onto DVD.
Mm-hmm.
The same company also do a very good scanning service for old negatives and slides, so we can do that out of in volume.
Yeah.
So that's a good service that we're finding a lot of command for, call for.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I was in the store earlier today to see you guys to plan for this show, and even in the half hour that I was there was that customer who wanted to know how he could watch his old VHS-C tapes.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah, we're always there for the advice and the knowledge. That's the key thing that we can offer.
fantastic. So let's talk cameras then. Come on. Are you going to be doing a full array? Are you going to focus on a particular segment of the camera market, or what's your plans?
The major demand has always been for the compact sub 100. There'll always be that demand.
The
there.
volume part.
The volume
yeah.
part market. So we're not going to be terribly brand specific there. There's a lot of competition, so we'll concentrate on those models and makes that we know we can compete on,
Mm-hmm.
that we consider to be good cameras.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great thing. We can now choose
You can.
and evaluate.
And you know what takes a good picture, and you know what
Yeah.
offers good value, and price is part of
Exactly.
that equation. But ultimately, you want to deliver product that takes reliable, good pictures, and obviously comes back to store for printing.
Yes, and works. That's the key thing.
Absolutely. But what about SLR? I mean, what about photo enthusiasts and this growing market of compact system cameras? Is that something
Yeah.
you're going to be able to offer?
So yes, we had talks with Olympus. They're going to help us out with
Yeah.
kitting out one of the cabinets with their obviously branding.
Mm-hmm.
Looking to bring in the OMD. That's
Mhm.
had some very good reviews,
Yes.
and hear that there's
Featured on our show last night, actually.
some new ones coming at the end of the year
Yes.
that they kind of let slip. So
Yeah.
yep.
This is not a rumour site.
Okay.
There's no room for rumours in the diner. And then, of course, there's the extended things, the peripheries, the memory cards,
Yes.
Right.
the gadget bags and the tripods and all the rest of it.
Yep. The full kit. That's it.
Filters, of course.
That's
Yeah,
the idea,
filters. Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've said that Kodak and a few other brands have been supportive. Olympus.
Olympus will be very supportive. Yes, they've been sending a few emails to how they're going to support us.
Good stuff.
We're hoping to get together with Nikon, see
Mhm.
if we can push that forward
Mhm.
and become a centre for them.
Mhm.
And then a lot of the distributors, the main backbone of the photo channel, have been very good to us. Tetnal, who are supporting Kodak, has been very good. We've done we've had a very good relationship so far with Kenro on the albums and frame side.
That's a name that people may remember back from home developing, when you used to use Kenro sheets to divide up all your negatives. But of course they're much bigger and beyond that now, as they've had to move their business away from traditional film and such like. Andy Tomlinson wants to send you a micro MV tape so that you can convert it to DVD. Is that all right?
Yeah, I'll be glad to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, you can find
Andy
the address on the
Tomlinson.
website.
There you
Yes.
go. Sorry, do you want to give it?
No, it's on our website at myimagex.co.uk.
So that's myimagex, Andy. You'll find the address on there. It's 23 Sheep Street, isn't it?
28
28.
Sheep Street.
I was nearly close. I found myself in the bra shop accidentally. Purely by accident. So, will you have a repair service, says 12 John 021. What's this say? He's got faulty autofocus and mould in his lens. Will you be able to service them?
Yes, we will. That's something we haven't touched on, but we've got 3 separate repair services that we're going to be sending equipment away to, depending on what the equipment is, at what age it is, and because no one camera repairer can do everything.
Yes.
And
the availability of spares and technical manuals kind of prevents that, doesn't it?
Yes, and some repairers turn work away because they're too busy doing their core stuff.
Yes.
So it's important that we use a range of services that we can identify are better for doing certain things.
Lala asks, Praktica still make good cameras. Will you be looking to stock them?
We hadn't considered it, but I think I saw their name on one of the stands at Focus.
Yeah, one of the second most recent camera I bought was a Praktica.
Really?
And it goes with me everywhere. And do you know why? It's a dash cam. It records out of the front windscreen of my car. And I gave one to my father to put in his trucks for Christmas. And it only cost 50 quid. No, it didn't. It cost 80 quid. And it records the road in front of you. So when some nutter comes out of the side road in front of you and says it was all your fault, then you've got the evidence. There you go, dash cam.
Have to look at that.
It seems to me like you guys have really done your homework, and you've really thought long and hard about what you need to do, make the contacts, establish the trading terms with the suppliers you need to have to be able to offer the right service to your customer. And I think our viewers here are really praising you guys. You've done. Andy Tomlinson's just punched in ace here. Nikon lover wants to know: are you doing sensor cleaning?
That's a good question. We haven't called on.
Oh, we found their fault. There's a chink in the armour.
We'll close the doors now and go home. I mean, we've
been thinking about it.
yeah. I mean, we do.
Can I recommend visible dust?
Yes, by all means. We used to, as Jessups, do a certain amount of sensor cleaning in-house. We'll still do that, obviously. Yeah. And if anything's higher end requirement, then obviously we will have these repair services we can send away for the real McCoy. But yes, we will do it.
Okay, great stuff. Okay, Sarah Penn says, I wish you guys all the best in your new business.
Thank
12
you,
John 021 says, yeah. Nikon lover says, got you. Don't know what that means, but he's got. Oh, you think
cleaning.
maybe he's just gone and found your website. Maybe he's done that. I don't know. Okay, gents, we need to award, all joking aside, the visible dust swab cleaning set, sensor cleaning set, to one of the best questions of the night. So tell us, which one did you think was a good one? This puts you on the spot, doesn't it?
It does a bit. What do you think?
I'll find one. I think it would have to be the one that trumped us, wouldn't it?
Are you doing sensor cleaning?
Yeah, why not? That's a good. No, we'll go back and we'll set ourselves up tomorrow for that.
It's given you food for thought. There you go. It's given you food for thought, and it's meant that you've not missed something, and you won't get caught out when the customer does properly come in. Okay, so that question was posed by Nikon Lover 1. So Nikon Lover 1, would you like to send me your email and home postal address to competitions@cameradiner.com. Tell me whether you've got APS-C, micro four thirds or full frame sensor in your camera, and I'll send you the appropriately sized swab cleaning set from Visible Dust. If you're a Nikon lover, you might have a 1-inch sensor. I'm just thinking these guys don't do a 1-inch sensor, so you might just catch me out if you've got a Nikon one. It's just occurred to me. Oh dear. Might have to ring the factory and get one made just for you. Anyway, let's keep looking down the chat wall here. Ken Photographers, let's all congratulate the boys from imagex. Let's hope others follow them. There you go. Lala says, me too. Andy Tomlin says, here, here, well done, chaps. Nikon Lover says, all the best to you guys.
Thank you.
12 John 021 says, ha ha. Can't please everyone, but at least he's laughing. Okay, so in summary then, guys, we wish you, all of us, from all our viewers, from ourselves here at Camera Diner as well, every success. I hope you really do thoroughly make a good fist of it, and that the customers keep coming back to you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for your time tonight and coming in.
No,
Now, before you go, you might have wondered what all these autographs are on the table here. These are every guest that come on the show. Okay, so I would like for you to sign on there for me, Paul, wherever you would like. Okay, very good.
Out of range of the camera.
That's all right, we'll get there in a minute. Thank you for that.
Oh, I'll sign there, Paul, I guess.
So your neck. Oh, it's a good job you're left-handed. You can reach a bit further.
That crossed my mind as I reached there. Thank you all.
Well done, sir. Thank you very much. Right, and as I say, best of luck to you both. I hope it's a resounding success, and that was a Freudian slip, wasn't it? And that business goes from strength to strength. Really, I do. I wish you every success. No, my pleasure. Now, don't forget the quiz for the RX 100 is still open until next Wednesday night. So if you want to win one of the most desirable cameras in the market, you need to watch the last 4 shows that we did from Focus on Imaging over these previous 4 days. They're all available on our website in the Watch Previous Shows section. Rob's just worded to Paul, we must do that camera. It looks good. Okay. It leaves me now to tell you who's coming into the diner next week. We're going to be joined by our friends from PhotoSpeed. They came on the show very, very early days when we were at Photokina broadcasting live from Germany. So I thought it was about time to invite them back. So next week we're going to be joined by Toby Herlinger. He is going to be talking to you all about fine art printing. So getting real top quality fine art pictures that you want to enter into your local camera club perhaps, or simply just put on the wall for your own home. So come in next week to the diner Thursday night, 7 o'clock, meet Toby, and he'll tell you all about inkjet printing. But for now, thanks very much everybody for tuning in, and sorry we got on air a little bit late this evening, but we'll see you next week at 7 o'clock. Good night.